Hello everyone and welcome back to Railroader once again. Now, many months ago, before I took nearly a year's break, I was embarking on a new Railroader series. And I don't know how far we're going to get this time, but there is a bit of a difference. We are on the Silver and Western, which kind of gives a clue where I'm taking this. And yeah, the whole idea of this playthrough is I'm in experimental mode because they've made a few additions that I really want to play through. Now, I'm not going to follow the tutorial because, well, you guys kind of already know what's going on. And yeah, we just don't need to run through that. We know what we're doing. So, yeah. Let's say I don't know how far I'm going to get. I would like to do a full season of this, but we'll see. In the meantime, yeah, we're going to have to play around. There's a few buildings been added in, which is great. The main reason I'm going experimental is I want to play with the timetable mode. So, without further ado, let's have a play, shall we? These should mostly be set. So, first thing we're going to do is go and retrieve our number one loco from its derailed position. So, just going to creep that out. I'm going to be using keyboard controls for much of this, so I apologise if you don't see me using the UI. And I could go into cab, but sometimes, you know, the controls are a bit janky to get to. So on and so forth. Which, you know, in some are really easy to get to, but I don't know. If we make this into a longer series and you'd like to see more in-cab driving, then we can do that. For sure. But for now, we are just going to follow on with our number two here. I love that they changed it in the game so number one actually is derailed. Because some of you may remember from early days when that was the number three and you never got to find out what happened to number one. So let's just throw that switch, throw the reverser back, and should really whistle before we take off. Yeah, we're just going to ease this down, retrieve our train, and I like to top up the coal and water on it before putting it in the shed, because otherwise, when they're finished repairing it, you kind of have to come back and drag it out and fuel it up. So it's an extra step that's not really needed, in my opinion. Yeah, you have here Mogul, of course, which I'm going to be putting mostly on passenger services. And we're going to keep the number one for our freight loco for now. Just ease that to a stop about here. Jump in the cab because we need to be in first person mode for this next bit, which is the re-railing of number one. For those of you who are probably new to the game, can't remember, don't want to run through the tutorial, just shift an R or re-rail. Like so. And she's back on the track. And likewise, if you've got a railroad car that you need shifting just a little bit, you can come and you can shift an R on that and push it as well. Obviously, I think the loco is probably a bit too heavy to shift by hand. We're just going to ease old number 2 back. Not too quick. And there we go. I'm not going to hook up any air or anything because, quite frankly, we don't need to. We're just going to jump back on. And push reverse forward. Bail off the brakes, although they're already off. Give a bit of an exaggerated whistle. And then give a bit of power and get out of here. Bit of power on for the sake of getting up here. Of course, there is a bit of a climb up out of siding. Trying to think of the American word for it there. A spur. But then would it be a spur? Because going into that industry. I don't know. Not important. Oh, I do not want to be pressing that. That's it. Let's ease on brakes there. Throw our switch. We're going to be looking at tender on this rear train. Let's say I just want to bring it back and get this fueled up first and foremost. Kind of like this grubby matte look. It looks used. And to me, yeah, that's kind of how my vision of Steam is. Not all prim, propped up and shiny. You know, they were dirty workhorses. This is how things were. Yeah, but hey ho. So we're just going to ease this back. I think there should be enough coal in here to fuel up number 1. Because then, of course, we need to go grab the coal car, place that over here, and all that good stuff. Yeah, just going to ease this to a stop. And we're there. Lower the coal chute. Let's say I think there's 2 tons in here. We'll be able to fill this up. Anyway, I am going to refuel this, position this in. Oh, okay. I was going to say I'll come back to you once I've refueled, but apparently I'm not going to do that because Oh, we've only got half a ton of coal in there. So I'm going to rotate the water column, open the hatch. It's going to drop down. We are going to at least be able to fill with water. But half a ton of coal on this will be enough anyway for us to bring it back out under its own power. In fact, probably actually steam this up. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I don't know. What is the condition of this? 70%. So actually, yeah, that's not too bad. That could run into the shed on its own, but we're not going to do that. Incidentally, if you want to get this engine roster panel up, it's just R on the keyboard, and on your laptop or desktop preferences. And I just find it so much easier to be able to swap between your locos, especially if you have a number on the move at once. And I am going to get into renaming the locos, so if you have any ideas on names, Trainy McTrainface is a no. Just going to put that out there. But as you can see, as soon as we've moved off, it has steamed up the number one. You know what? Let's do that. Start at how we mean to go on. And we're just going to let this roll back in the shed. And one of the updates from the last time I did a video is repair parts. So you have to actually have repair parts to repair your locos now. And they do provide a box van for this purpose, which we are going to recolor, as well as our passenger cars. And you also get a coal hopper, which we need to position over there. And they also generously give us 8 skeleton cars, which they too we are going to be moving. So we're going to roll this in. Would like to position it under there. Just apply a handbrake to that. And instantly all action stops on that. So let's jump back to our loco here. Let's say I'm just going to go grab that coal hopper, run that round in here, and then move down onto the passenger car where I'll rejoin you guys, and we're going to have a look at the timetable feature, which if you haven't seen it yet, that alone is a reason to consider experimental. A reason to not consider experimental, of course, is by very nature, it is experimental, your game may break. So let's say I'm going to jump across to that, and I'll see you guys in a second or two. Oh, we are just now about ready to back down and grab our passenger car here. And what I'm going to do whilst I grab the passenger car is I'm also going to bring our caboose and park it on this road because we're going to get rid of it. Unfortunately, although yes, it makes sense in terms of the railroad to run them and what have you. Realistic operations. Practically in a sort of solo game like I'm running here, you just don't use it. And sadly, that's just simple fact. It gets in the way, you're having to constantly run around and provide movement. Now, that's not to say that we can't go and get it again at a later date. Absolutely, we can go get a caboose. And if you guys prefer to see that, then I will do that. But right now, I want the money more than I want the caboose. So we are going to just shuffle back. Let's say we're going to grab the caboose, we're going to stick it on the interchange, and we're going to sell it for now. So there we go. Move back to our loco. Back. Before I do that, we are going to tie in with a shift click on the glad hand, so it sets all the air again. Yes, we could go and change the angle cocks ourselves, but for one, you have to really get the angle right to get under here and do this angle cock. Yeah, so now moving the mouse, it's the wrong. So I'm having to pull the mouse to the right, as you can see, to move it left, and then you get it wrong. Yeah, it's a bit awkward. So it's easier just shift click. So we're facing forward, going to release the brakes. Open the angle cocks. Quick double whistle and pull away. And what I'll do is I'll get that sighted and then we'll run through the timetable mode for passengers. Because that is something that I'm really looking forward to. What I tend to do is have the AI take passenger trains because, you know, they're a vital part of the game, but there's not a lot operationally. You know, you run a couple of passenger trains and then it's kind of same old, same old. But at the same time, I do like having the passenger operations in it, which I get is kind of contradiction there, but you know, life and myself, we're all full of contradictions. So, throw that switch. Quick triple blast, which is funny in a way because I'll do that and then I'll go and do something like this. Yeah, we're just gonna leave that to roll down, and then when they service the interchange, that will disappear. I reckon that'll do. Right, so back to our loco. Now the first thing we're gonna need to do when setting up operations is we need to create a crew. And this is going to be, in fact, no, we don't. It's not what we need to do at all. That's it, operations. We need to activate timetable in here. Hot boxes and oiling, I like to put that on 80%. And that is purely because otherwise you end up having to oil everything all the time. As you can see, we're down 1% already on here. And that is a new feature since the last time I did a video. This is not just an experimental, this is in the full release. And just simply go along and you click on one set of bogies or wheels per vehicle and you can oil them up. Now the passenger car here, we've not used it yet, that's 100%. So with that done, we're going to bring up our timetable, which is empty at the moment, so we're going to click on here. Now what you can do is you can go here and you can load a predefined starter. And what that will do is that will create a timetable which runs from one end to the other and back. And that is set up to use the entire line in the game, even if you haven't got it unlocked, and it will just blank out the routes that you don't have access to. So for now we just have Whittier and Ela, so it will just activate the stops for that. But it means there's a whole lot of dead space in there while the train isn't going where it needs to go. So we're going to do this, and we're going to call this number 1. Now, one very important thing to bear in mind is odd numbers are generally set as westbound, which for us is Whittier and Ela. Now, departure. We want departure to be at, and for this, I'm going to set this. Hang on, let me work this out. So I want the first train to depart at 6:30. So 9:30. I'm going to say this is going to depart at 11:30, which means we're going to have to skip some time. That's fine. And then departure, we need to set plus now we're going to say 20. $1100. So train's going to depart, which you're at. No, I said. You know what? We'll leave it at 11. It's fine. No, change my mind again. You know what? I should really skip all this mental arithmetic out. So we're going to send a train at 6. We're going to send a train at 8. We're going to send a train at 10. So this wants to be service number 5. And it's going to take about 5-6 minutes to get up there, but we're going to leave it with a dwell time and return it 10:20. With that set, so it's first class westbound is a passenger, and we're going to click apply timetable. And then what we're going to do is going to come in here. We're going to add a new one, which is our return service, which departure at, and that is going to be the 10:30 return service. So no, it's going to be the 10:20 with departure at give it 10 minutes. So as you can see, we've got timetable set up. So first train is going to go westbound at 10, and train's going to return at 10:20. Now it does get a bit more complicated. You can add more stops. So what I could have technically done was set the arrival time here. Arrive at such and such time, and it would have moderated speed for that. But you don't need to do that right now. That's more if you've got complicated moves going on, you want a train meet, you want it to coincide. But we can look at that in a later video. For now, it's just a very simple set up a timetable. Let's not get overly complicated with it. So now the timetable is set. Now we need to create a crew, which is passenger, and we need to operations, train crew, passenger, and his orders are going to be AE Road. Right now his orders are to stop, and we need to set this operations passenger. Right, I'm not convinced. Right, train symbol. So yeah, so there is an additional bit to this. So active passenger. So we need to come into show on here, and we need to set the train symbol to first class passenger westbound. And I want to leave that crew because I want this guy to be in charge of that. Right now, can he get, does he have a path? He does. Excellent. So I'm going to skip through time a little bit. So let's wait for that. I'm going to set his track speed to 35. And he should now bring his train into Whittier Station. He's got orders of 35. Let's actually go and just to fly by, make sure the line is all set. Which it should be fine, he should. Work that out all on his own anyway. But if I've done this correctly, he should be able to drive along here, recognise that he's got to stop. No station. Stop planned. Right, so copy from timetable. Right. That's a step I'd forgotten. Orders. Station stop when passing. Right. So there's quite a bit involved with the timetabling thing, getting used to that. But hopefully this is going to work. Now he should give all the whistle indications as relevant, such as we're coming to this crossing. He's got the bell going. Not sure if you can hear that or not. But he recognises he's stopping in Whittier. He's blowing for the crossing, which is excellent. And as I say, he's now going to come. He's going to stop here. Well, we've already got 29 passengers waiting. And they are all going to board, ready for train number 5 westbound to Ela. So I'm going to let those board, and I'm going to cut this video here. It's been plenty long enough. What we'll do is we'll come back, and the next video we'll follow the service. We'll see it depart, kind of skip the journey a bit, and we'll catch up with it in Ela, as well as follow it back here to Whittier, where we're going to need to borrow the locomotive. We're going to go grab our skeleton cars, and we're going to set up some freight stuff, because we haven't even done that yet. We've not taken any contracts out, which is going to be important. So yeah, if you made it this far in the video, thanks guys. I do really appreciate it. As I say, there's not going to be a fixed schedule. I want to do a series on this, but I'm making no guarantees right now on videos. Try and do them weekly as and when I can. That said, guys, thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.